Hi, everybody. I'm Chad Shoemaker, and this is another episode of About 30 Minutes. So glad to be with you once again. And I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce our guest, Shelagh Pruni, director of the Reeves Museum and the Tuscarawas County Historical Society. I said it wrong, didn't I? I said it wrong. Go ahead. What is it?
The Reeves Victorian Home Museum and the Dover Historical Society.
Dover Historical Society. Okay, very good. Well, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me.
We're here coming up very quickly on the fall and Halloween season. So you were very kind to let us come in and sit in the drawing room of the Reeves Home. So, which I don't think I've ever sat in here. I know I've taken the tour and we've come through on a few shoots before. And it was always one of those rooms that I'd kind of peek into. I love the piano. Mm-hmm. Was this here? I mean,
Yes.
this is part of the history of the home.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
Definitely. Yeah, over 90% of the belongings are original to the family, and this is one of those. Yes.
All right, very good. Has anybody ever played that?
Yes. However, it is called a coffin or box grand piano, and they are very hard to keep in tune. So we don't play it often.
Okay, you don't play it often.
It has been played, but not
I mean,
often.
I'm thinking in terms of like just having a guest come through and
And just sit down.
and kick out some ragtime or something.
Well, we usually say, please don't touch. So no. So guests, no, sorry.
How appropriate, though, that I've never even heard of a coffin piano before.
Right. Well, I didn't till I came here either. But if you go to other Victorian, I have seen them in other Victorian home museums. So yeah, of the period for sure.
Well, that brings me to our first talking point here. Now, you have been with this organization we were talking before we went on, about 9 years.
Yes, October will be 9 years.
How'd you get involved?
Oh boy, that's flown by for sure. It's just right timing. My children were grown. We I'd been a homeschool mom for 20 years and was looking to do, something else with my life and move into the next phase. And the Historical Society was looking for a director, and it just worked out perfectly for both of us.
Do you have a background in history? Is this just a personal interest or hobby, or what was that?
Well, I like to think that I feel like my adult life up until this point was a perfect preparation for this job.
Okay.
My husband's a chiropractor locally, so I helped him run his practice. And then being a homeschool mom, our favorite places to visit were museums and libraries. History was always my favorite subject. And then I did a lot of volunteer work at my church at St. Joe's and at Tuscarawas Central Catholic High School. So, and I think there's not one aspect of any of those things that I don't use here.
Right, right. Now, this is our podcast here is really about, the interesting people of Tuscarawas County. And are you a lifelong Tuscarawas County citizen?
No, my husband is born and raised here and graduated from Dover High School. I was raised in Chicago, went to high school in Chicago, and my husband was in practice there, and that's where we met.
Okay.
And when I met him, he had warned me he was wanting to move back, and I agreed. But I love
you
it
about
here.
coming to Ohio.
Yes.
How long have you been?
So
with us?
we have been. We moved here in June of 1990. So
okay.
34 years.
See, I'm still of that mindset of, people say, oh yeah, 1990, whatever. And I'm like, oh yeah, it's not that long.
Yes.
Yeah,
believe me, I am. I'm with you.
So, wow. Okay. So you came here in 1990. Tell me about clearly you, with being a homeschool mom, and, saying that, museums were one of those places that you just, love to go. Was there anybody did you volunteer for this position? Where you kind of tapped for this position? Did you fall into it?
Kind of fell into it. They were looking and I was applying.
Yeah.
So really it was just perfect timing. So yeah.
What does the day-to-day look like for you?
Day to day. Wow. No day is the same for sure. We're, Wednesday through Sunday we're open for tours. So we're, opening up in the morning, making sure everything's ready for guests coming that day. And some days we're really busy and some days we're not. So the days that we're not, I like to get stuff done at my desk, whether that's, working on, just replying to emails and setting up, other rentals and planning ahead for, the events coming up, the promotion for them, lining up, staff, doing scheduling for staff, doing payroll, just everything that goes with running a small business, basically,
right.
Is certainly stuff that I'm taking care of.
Is this the only museum within your jurisdiction as
Me,
far
yes.
as far
Yes.
as you were concerned.
Yes, thank goodness.
You wouldn't want to do like 2 or 3
No,
more.
no.
So
And there are plenty out there that do, and kudos to them, and they do a great job. But I'm very happy right here with what we have.
well, this home. I mean, I've been I graduated from Dover. I've been a Dover citizen all my life, with the exception of the years I was off in school and that kind of thing. And this is one of those things everybody knows about.
For
I mean,
sure.
everybody
Yes.
knows
Yes.
this is here.
Yeah.
But until you come in, and I know Dover residents that have never got here,
Yes.
which is crazy. But until you come in here, I can't even imagine the upkeep of something like this. I mean, I know that things have been donated to this home to use and display to kind of give it the period look. I'm right in that, correct? Some, okay, but a lot of it was original.
Over 90% was original to the Reeves family, which is very unique amongst Victorian home museums. So we get a lot of visitors that are Victorian home enthusiasts. They travel around, and that's what they visit is Victorian homes. And we get complimented over and over again about this is one of their favorite homes. And oh my gosh, you have that much original. It is very unique. So we're very, very grateful for that.
What is it like to keep this place functioning? I mean, as just simply, I mean, I think about, this home, they had to have had staff here when this was an active, home that somebody lived in. How many people does it take to keep this place just clean? I mean, it just, I can't even imagine the dusting that goes on here.
You'd be surprised how few.
Okay.
Well, I think, we also have modern day, air cleaners and things. So, and nobody lives here day to day, and there's
I guess that's true.
And there's no food being prepared in here, so that cuts down on a lot. But it's volunteer. Me, my office staff, and we had a volunteer that actually came in last week on her day off from her regular job, and I was like, "Hey, you're not scheduled today. What's happening?" She's like, "Well, I said I was going to come in on my day off and vacuum." I was like, "Thank you, you're awesome." But we have a lot of volunteers, a lot of our tour guides that'll do that.
Now, that, of course, is going to bring up the question, if a person is interested in volunteering here, how do you go about that?
Oh, just call me.
Okay.
Just call me. We are always in need of volunteers. I mean, there are some events that need a lot more volunteers than others, but one of the biggest needs that we have is someone to be a greeter. We're there sitting in the carriage house during the hours that we're open. And like I said, some days we're super busy and other days we're not very busy. So bring a book. But the days that we're busy, our visitors, people are here. This is their happy place. They're on their day off or they're on a vacation and they love to visit Victorian homes or museums, or, oh, I just drove by and saw the sign. We wanted to stop in. So, all of our guests are just lovely and they're happy to be here and they just are happy to walk through. So it's always really nice to sit in there, take their admission, give them a little intro. And if the tour guide's on a tour, then you're kind of making small talk for a few minutes until they come back. So, and that's a huge, huge help to us. I know the people that volunteer in that position don't feel like they're doing much, but that allows me to stay at my desk and do my work. So, it's really, really helpful. We really could use a lot of that kind of help.
Do you get repeat visitors here? I mean, do you have people that come through that
we do, especially yeah. Well, I wouldn't necessarily say no, but they'll say, "Oh, I've been here before, but this is my sister. She's in from, they're from Cleveland, and my sister's up from Florida, and I wanted to bring her here." And that actually just happened the other day. So, yeah.
And so if you have Victorian home enthusiasts, which again, it never ceases to amaze me, the hobbies, the pastimes, the passions that people have. And to kind of plug previous episodes here of the show, how many places there are in Tuscarawas County that people can fulfill that kind of stuff? I mean, there's so much going on here that I think people don't know about, that they're surprised when they come in and they see this. So is this home, I mean, obviously it's got to be a registered historical landmark, but are there other registrations that go with this? Like, is there a Victorian Home Society? Are there other organizations that acknowledge this kind of place?
Not that I'm aware of, but that's a good thought, Chad. I'm going to look into that. So again, not that I'm aware of, but
how far a reach have you had? I mean, how far have people come to see this place, or how, I guess, have you had folks coming from out of country? Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, definitely.
In our little town.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. Yes. Yeah.
We're here today, not just because this is such a great place, but because we have the fall and Halloween seasons coming up. And we were excited to kind of hear about some of the things that Reeves has going on this time of year. Can you tell me about some of those
Sure.
things?
So it turns into our busy time, and it's just, I think, because of the nature of the calendar of our society. You know, we have Halloween and then Thanksgiving and then Christmas, so big times. You know, busy times for a Victorian home. So the first big event, or the next big event coming up, is our Halloween ghost tours. When I first started here, this is a historic home. So I wanted to make sure that we never did anything that jeopardized the credibility of it being a historic home. So it being called a haunted house or doing haunted things.
Okay. And see,
I didn't
and
want to
that
do
was
that.
I've lived here, like I said, my entire life. And when we were discussing this episode, I thought, I don't know of. I like to think that I've kind of kept up on some of the the haunting stories and legends and that kind of stuff that have happened in Tuscarawas County. But I'm thinking, I don't know of anything that ever happened in Reeves, but it doesn't.
Well, you have to come to ghost tours.
Okay, all right. So, do you want to keep it authentic?
Yes, yeah. So I didn't want to do like a haunted house, a scary thing, nothing like that.
Sure.
So I thought about it for a couple years, and then one of our board members, her son worked with someone who was a paranormal investigator, and she was so excited to tell me they want to come. They do it for free, blah blah. And I was like, okay. I can't say no to her. Okay, I don't like this kind of stuff.
Okay.
So they came, and it was interesting. I don't watch those kind of shows. I'm not a fan of that kind of stuff. So they come in here in this room, and they start unpacking their stuff and talking about, when they do this, and I'm like, no, I don't know. I've never watched these shows. I don't know what you're doing. But boy, that was an interesting evening.
It's, and that's the thing. It's one of those things that before we came on, we were talking about, I told you that I used to be a school teacher. And during the Halloween season, I taught science. So with me, ultimately with 7th and 8th graders especially, I would have kids coming in and they're like, so what's the deal with the ghost shows on TV? So I looked into some of it. And I said, okay, the idea with those shows, first of all, is ratings primarily.
Yeah.
I mean, quite clearly.
Let's be real, yeah.
I said, but, I said, you want to think about some of the scientific stuff that we've talked about this year. And since I was fortunate enough to have 7th and 8th, as the kids came in as 8th graders, I could say, all right, remember when we talked about this last year? Yeah. And I would say, and really a lot of it is to disprove that something has happened or that there's a haunting or that kind of stuff. You look for the most simple scientific explanation first. So, and I'm hoping that's what your investigators did when they came.
Well, it was interesting because the one gentleman, they all had they were, first of all, they were doing it for free. And I thought, okay, that gives you credibility.
Free is good.
Yeah. You're not asking me for money to tell me, So I like that. They all had day jobs, professionals,
Sure.
So they were telling me as they were getting ready for, all their equipment stuff. They were saying, oh yeah, there's sometimes we're going to someplace and we're, there for 4 hours and nothing happens. And, they're being really honest with us. Oh, okay. Whatever. Well, they start with those talking and whatever. And within 5 minutes, there's, flashlights. And I'm watching them put in new batteries out of a package into a flashlight. Do you know what I mean? I'm watching for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Again, the disproving thing.
Yes.
I have to be here every day. I come in here, alone sometimes. So, it was interesting. It was just, you can believe it, not believe it. I'm just going to share with what I saw, flashlights going on and off and hearing something. And they were recording things and they would replay it. And like, I didn't hear that. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
So it was interesting. For whatever that's worth, it was interesting. But that did kind of move us on the path of, for better or for worse, in our culture, Halloween fascinates people. And
Absolutely.
It's a big, fun time for people. So then we decided we would start working on doing some kind of tours at Halloween time. We didn't know what we'd call it yet. So we took a year and we went and visited some other ghost tours, Halloween tours at other historic sites. So, and the directors there were fantastic. I called ahead and and I had met them at different conferences and seminars and they were really happy to have us come down, shared information with me, told us what had been working, what had not, so we went to both of those and then we spent a year, writing the script. Really mostly my coworker, Tamara Benson, worked on that. And she is lived in Wales for a while. So, a lot of our Halloween customs here come from Great Britain.
Sure.
So that's also fitting the fact that the Reeves were also Welsh, so
Oh, I
so
see.
that there was a
Okay.
great tie-in from a historical point of view, and that was the direction we definitely wanted to go. That was how we were going to not have a haunted house, but it was more of historically based.
Right.
So what the ghost tours have evolved into is a tour of 13 rooms in the house. We try to book 13 people per room, and the tours cost $13.
I'm seeing a
and
trend
that's-
here.
Yes. So, we're trying to play on all those kind of fun, creepy things.
Yes.
And each room has kind of a different theme. When we first walk in, the first room is the parlor, and we talk about Victorian funeral practices because Mr. and Mrs. Reeves were both waked in that room. So on the tour, you're going to get very little Reeves history, so it's not at all like our regular guided tours. So we talk about some topic, Victorian, spiritualism, funeral practices, wedding, things like that.
Sure.
And then we do share if there's any kind of happening that happened in that room. Or either one of us on the staff has experienced, if a guest has experienced it, then we share that. So.
Yeah, I like the fact though that you're not playing it up. It's
Right.
not schmaltzy. It's not, I mean, for lack of a better word, but it's not hokey. I mean, you were simply looking at this from an historic
Absolutely.
standpoint.
Absolutely. And I'm pretty happy with what we've come up with. So.
Yeah. I mean, because definitely, pretty much once. Well, I mean, for crying out loud, I was up north this past weekend, and I'm already seeing Spirit Halloween stores open. And
Yes.
they're getting ready now.
Yes, I've
And
been seeing advertising for things already too. Like,
it's
oh my
August,
gosh,
come on! But yeah, I mean, once that season hits, boy, it's just and I could definitely see that you want to set it apart from the boo gotcha kind of stuff too.
absolutely, yeah.
But would you say, and this is always opinion, but would you say that there is do you think people leave with a genuine sense of spookiness or creepiness sometimes?
Yes.
Okay.
And not in a bad, horrifying way.
Yeah.
But, everybody wants that at Halloween too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we do. Again, we try to not make it schmaltzy, as
Yes,
you said,
yes.
but we do rearrange the house. For the Halloween tours,
Yeah.
so I won't give too much away, but
No, please
like
don't, please
one
don't.
of the just a quick example, one of the funeral practices of Victorian funeral practices, that mirrors were covered. So in a lot of the rooms, there'll be black draping over all of the mirrors.
I didn't know
Or
that.
family members' pictures will all be face down. Some things like that. Obviously, the lighting is very different. And there's candles in places and things.
And that
things
can
like
make a
that.
huge
So,
difference on.
Yeah, it's just the feel,
Yeah,
so,
I mean, we walk into this place and it's very. This is very elegant. This is very, but I've never seen it like that. I mean,
Right.
with the lighting that we set up today, the little bit of purple spookiness back there, it makes a difference.
Yes. Oh, for sure. For
So,
sure. Yes. Yeah.
So apart from the haunted tours, what else do we have going on this time of year?
So we have the haunted tours, and then we have our murder mystery dinner the first weekend in November, and that always sells out really, really quickly, and that's always a lot of fun. Every year it's a different theme. It's done in our carriage house. It's a full dinner. There's an actor. There'll be the beginning. It starts with kind of the intro to whatever the story's going to be, and then it morphs into dinner, and there'll be an actor that sits at each table and stays in character. So everybody there gets to ask them questions, talk to them, try to overhear what they're saying at the other table. They'll have an opportunity to ask a question of all the cast members, and then the table that votes for the guilty party, we'll say, gets a little prize at the end. So it is we have people that book that far in advance, and they come every single year. It's a lot of fun.
Is it period set?
No.
It's
Every
not?
year. Oh no, we do a lot of fun. One year it was a Thanksgiving dinner, and it was a reunion dinner of a family circus. It was just wild. It was so much fun. Yes, yeah. And one year we did it was a boat. It was Christmas themed, and they were on a cruise ship, and they were singing. So no, every year it's very, very different.
Wow,
Very different.
that's
Yeah.
very.
Yeah.
So, do you you have to track down these stories? Do you folks
Oh,
write
actually,
them? Or-
again, Tamara Benson, my coworker, my assistant curator, writes
Oh, that's
the
awesome.
murder mystery. Yeah,
That's fantastic.
yeah. And we have so much great local talent here.
Mhm.
So there's a group of people that will come and do that locally. People that you've probably seen at Little Theater and different things, So the different thing about this is it's not scripted. Tam writes kind of an outline, and it's
Mhm.
all ad-libbed, which scares the daylights out of me. So I stay in the
Yeah.
office. I let them do their thing out there, but
So
they
you don't participate as an
no,
actress?
no. Oh no. I'm a behind the scenes kind of person
Okay.
for sure.
Oh my gosh.
But they
that's
love
fantastic.
it. They so enjoy doing it, and
Mhm.
you can tell that. You can tell that in the show. So, yeah. So that's the next thing.
Oh my
coming up, yeah.
gosh. Wow. Now, do you getting back to volunteers with this, when we get into the fall months, I can only imagine the upkeep here on the outside with leaves and everything else. Do you folks contract out somebody, or
We
do
did
you?
starting last year. Yes,
Okay,
yes,
or
'cause
I
it was
didn't know if you had.
again, it was just too hard to keep up on that. So
This is,
yeah.
I mean, how big is the property?
So we sat on about 2 acres.
Okay, and I mean, I when we came in today, there was some fellas out there mowing and that kind of thing. I wasn't sure if you had volunteers
Yeah,
doing that
so
kind of stuff or what.
so the landscaping, the lawn mowing and trimming, that we did hire out this year. Our gardener though is on staff, and she's been here many years, and she is just fantastic. Just
Gotcha.
such a knack for flowers and what blooms when and what looks good where, and yeah, she's amazing. So.
This is going to be a totally silly question, but do kids come here trick or treat on Halloween?
Yes.
Are you serious?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Oh, and we love when it works out that we can do it. So a bunch of us, I'll send an email out to all the tour guides and the board members, whoever wants to sit on the front porch and wear a costume or wear a witch hat, and we'll all bring our candy and we sit out on the front porch, and they walk up one set of steps and then they go across the porch and get something from everybody and
Oh my
go down.
gosh.
Yeah, we have a blast.
That is
We have a
so
blast,
cool. I
yeah,
was just
yeah.
that popped into my brain, and I'm thinking, how cool would it be
Yeah.
to as a little kid to walk up to this big house, big intimidating house, and that's great.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a fun night for us. So
Yeah.
that's more of a staff fun night out. So
Wow, it never ceases to amaze me the number of just absolutely fascinating things that we have here at our disposal in the county. So one of the things that we will ask our guests is, since we do this in cooperation with Live Tusk, is how do you live Tusk? How do you make Tuscarawas County a part of your life, and how has it affected your life? And this is good, since you're not originally from
I'm not
here.
originally from here. Well, with that being said, I said I grew up in Chicago. My dad was a Chicago policeman. So there was a lot of things in the city. Chicago is a fantastic city.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I'm so grateful my family's there. I have 2 children that live there now, that I can go back and visit. However, I am so grateful I didn't raise my children there. What they had, what they could do here, I could drop one off at dance. I had 1 daughter and 4 boys. So Adele could go to dance, and I could drop
1
somebody
daughter,
off.
4 boys.
4 boys, yes.
So you were very
So
busy.
I was very busy. I have really lived Tusk, let me tell you.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
So it gave them opportunities to do things you just can't do in a big city. It's just it's too busy, it's too hectic, it's too expensive.
Sure.
So yeah, I just growing up in a small town, I'm so very grateful I got to do that for my children. Yeah. So.
Well, that's is there anything here, and I love this because we brought this up in our last 1 or 2 guests. Is there anything here that when you go to visit that you have 2 children that live in Chicago?
They live in Chicago, yeah.
That they say, please bring.
They don't ever ask, but my husband is the most thoughtful person ever, and he'll go shopping and make sure that there's either Corral's potato chips, Trail bologna, Swiss cheese, Eiler's candy. Let's see what else. Beef jerky from Swiss Valley Meats.
Oh yeah.
Let's see what else. When they come here, my brother, Chicago again, the pizza capital of the world.
Yes.
When he comes here last Christmas, one of the gifts I got him was a Penzo's Pizza shirt, because he just loves Penzo's Pizza when he comes here.
So do I. So
yeah, so those are the things. Yeah.
Oh,
those
that's
are the things that we always
fantastic.
take.
That is excellent. Well, believe it or not, It's been about 30 minutes.
Wow.
So
Can I plug one more thing real
absolutely,
quick? This
please
is super
plug
important.
that was my next step is please plug whatever
last
you would
thing.
like.
We started doing, this will be our third year of doing a presentation of Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol.
Oh, okay.
And it was written, it's been adapted to be performed in a Victorian home. So the audience comes in, each scene is performed in a different room in the mansion. So the audience travels around the house watching the scene. And it has been fantastic. It's a lot of work.
I had no clue that was
But
going on.
it is absolutely awesome. Again, sells out very quickly. It's the first 3 weekends in December. And it is just a really cool thing at Christmas time. To be able to go through this house and it really come alive, because you go in the dining room for a scene and they're actually having a party in there. Or
That's
there's
cool.
a party in the ballroom. And for the actors, they love it too, because they're usually on a stage.
Sure.
Now they're standing, this close to the audience.
Theater in the round
So
right
yes,
there. So
yeah.
that is
So
fantastic.
that's
I didn't know
been
that.
great. And that's another thing I like us about the ghost tours. It's a different way for the people to experience this mansion. So
Where do we go to get tickets, information, etc.?
you can go to our website, which is doverhistory.org. There's usually links in the special event section for tickets. We started being able to purchase online tickets last year, so that's gone very well. If you don't like to do things online, please call the museum office, and we're very happy to do that for you on the phone. And also, please follow us on Facebook. And we had trouble with Facebook last year. Don't tell anybody, in case anybody else has never had trouble with it. So we have a new Facebook page about a year and a half now, Reeves Museum.
Okay.
So that's
What's that phone number that we can?
330-343-7040.
Excellent. So this is very enlightening. So again,
Great.
it's one of those things I cannot believe all the great things we have here.
Yeah, we are.
And
Yeah.
you think you've got it all, but well, Sheila, thank you so much for taking the time out to talk with us today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
It's been a lot of fun.
And coming here on site. This is great.
Yes, this is great. So, well, folks, that's going to do it for another episode of About 30 Minutes. We hope you join us again next time, and take care until then. This episode of About 30 Minutes was brought to you by Rodriguez's House of Stones. Since 1976, the House of Stones is the premier jewelry store in New Philadelphia, Ohio. When you visit our store, you'll find loose diamonds, engagement rings, fine jewelry, custom jewelry, and pieces by the most famous jewelry designers. Rodriguez's House of Stones, where Tuscarawas County gets engaged. Live Tusk strives to create a community of young adults living and or working in Tuscarawas County, Ohio, by assisting opportunities for social interaction and networking. We provide an awareness about the resources, activities, events, art, outdoor rec, education, and career opportunities in Tuscarawas County to encourage positive engagement about the quality of life in this area. We believe in a future where our community is a beacon of opportunity, known for its strong sense of belonging and exceptional quality of life. Our City Productions is a one-stop shop for professional quality and affordable video production, photography, social media management, and video conversion and archiving. Be sure to visit us at ourcityproductions.com and follow us on Facebook.